Hello YouTube, this is Jason Love from Jason Loves Life. Today I'm going to talk about how to monetize your comic book, specifically web comic books. Obviously, if you're going to do a regular comic book, it's going to be selling to comic book shops or selling it. I guess you could do through online too. But so today we're just web comics. So pretty much alternative revenue streams. We're going to start off with AdSense. So AdSense is specifically a product that Google puts out where you can put ads on your website. They give you a little code, and then you put it into your website, and it shows ads. Now, there are a couple other services that do this other than AdSense. So I guess advertising would be this title. AdSense being the most common. You can move them around. You usually get paid per click, but you can also get paid per view. It's most commonly per click because people then are able to actually say, okay, I'm willing to pay 20 cents to get this person on my website, or something to that effect. The amount changes. It sort of depends on your keywords and things like that. So it's an option, but it isn't necessarily the greatest options. A lot of time, if you really want to make a fair amount of money, you're going to want to mix the AdSense or advertisements with other revenue streams. So I guess the best one to do next would be sponsored ads. So instead of AdWord where they put different ones on, people specifically saying, hey, I want to put an ad on your website, and they usually pay you like an upfront fee. So for a month, you might pay $300 or $500, or something, depending on what your traffic is and how relatable that content is to those advertisements. Not related to advertisements, you can do a digital product. So for a comic book, probably the most common and best thing to do would be a digital version of the comic book, or if you're giving away your content for free, you can have an extended comic book that you have to pay to read. Other digital products, I guess you could do apps. Probably not so much common with comic books, but with other stuff. But there's still possibilities for such things as games. So either for the actual computer or for smartphones. Piggybacking off digital products, you have physical products or merchandising. So you have, if you're doing a webcomic or if you're doing a video show, you could always take them and turn them into physical comics, or you also have merchandising. So there's actually people who make a lot of their money just off of selling t-shirts. I know if you go with What the Duck was a webcomic, he does a lot of plush dolls and, just different things. Nice way to get around having to buy a bunch of merchandising is use Cafe Press, which I believe is what he does. Most of his stuff is through Cafe Press. I like Cafe Press, but at the same time, they do take a large percentage. It's a lot cheaper just to do it yourself. So it's a great way to get going, but I would recommend taking the numbers and then doing a drop shipping company who, if you can get a better rate. Drop shipping means that they ship the product. So you buy a bunch and they store it and then they ship it for you. So then another model to use, which is not so common with comic books especially, is subscription model. And that is, areas where people have to pay to be. That happens a lot with sort of like classes, I guess you'd call them, or like educational products. So you might have a subscription to, a certain website where you go and you can learn about stuff, and then you can chat with other people learning about it. And then one that's not very commonly spoke about is speaking gigs. So if you're doing, like a book signing, it's probably not going to pay a whole lot, but it's also possible if you get well established to do speaking gigs at colleges, which pay really well. Talking about not necessarily your project, but kind of you got to think of it, if you can sell it to the colleges, those kids don't know what they want to do. So it's an opportunity to talk about, especially if you're doing web comics or something web related, to talk about technology and how we use it, and then mix it in with, how you use it. I know that Homestar Runner's done a few speaking gigs. I don't know how much they get paid for, but if you know me at all, that I have a background in magic, and the college shows were they always paid pretty well. So if you can get into speaking gigs, it's a good way to make a little money, but you got to travel. So that's always, or usually you have to travel depending on where the speaking gig is. But, so yeah, there's other ways. I guess those are the main ways. I mean, you could always get freelance work as well. It's another option. So people hiring you just because they've seen your work. That's all I can think of right now. Those are pretty much the main ways. And it sort of depends too on your area. So certain webcomic creators will have a different possibilities, but these are the main ones that I recommend looking into first. So I hope you enjoy this information. Use it wisely. Let me know if you implement any of this. Just leave it in a comment below on which one of these are you using currently and how it's working for you. Thank you.